Hello, everyone. Welcome you all in our first session of HTML. So, in this session, we are going to learn some basic structure of HTML to design a web page. Okay, so I will start the session by creating a folder because whenever you have to make a HTML file, you first have to create a folder. I'm creating the folder in my desktop. Let me rename my folder as my first web page. Now, I will use Visual Studio Code Editor to design my web page using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. How to open file in Visual Studio. Now, first of all, whenever you open Visual Studio, you can see an option of file on your top left corner. When you click on the file option, you get an option of open. When you click on this open option, it will take you to the folders which you want to open for your project. My folder is in desktop, so I'll go to desktop and I will search where my project is. Here it is, and I will click on open. With this, you can see my folder is open in Visual Studio Codes. If you want how to download or open or install Visual Studio, I will make a separate video for that. So please comment down below if you need a separate video to how to download a Visual Studio. Now, as my folder is here, I will be making my files inside this folder. How to create files inside the folders? So there are few steps that we need to follow, and there are multiple steps that we can follow. First of all, there is an option over here in the plus sign just beside my folder. If you click on it, you get the option of writing your file name inside this. As I am using HTML files at first, I will name it as index.html. Why .html? Because .html will tell you the extension, and it is also going to tell you that which file actually are you using. So all the extensions of HTML can be used with this .html file extension. Now I will start writing my HTML code over here. So like in English language, we have to follow some syntax, right? Same here in HTML, we also have to follow some syntax. Now, the syntax goes like, your HTML will work like a human body. So if I talk about a human body, we always have on the top, which is our head. And then we have body, where all my legs, hands, and everything are there. Same structure goes for HTML as well. I always start my HTML with a tag, which is HTML tag. This is going to be my Angular tags. Without Angular tags, you cannot use HTML. The full form of HTML is Hypertext Markup Language. So H stands for hypertext, T is text, M is your markup and language. So as it is a markup language, we need an Angular tag to write the codes. So now what I'll do over here is I will write the tags HTML, and as in English language, if I want to stop any paragraph, I use a full stop to show that it's ended. Same here in HTML, we have to use a slash sign, slash, so that I can say that my tag is over, that this line is getting over here. Let's understand it in more details. So if I just go ahead, I'll just write HTML, all the codes inside this HTML part. Let's start with the head because we are thinking HTML as a human body. So we'll start with the head. Inside head, we can have some extensions or maybe files. Right now, I'm using a title inside it. As it is my first web page, so the title of my web page, I'm keeping it as first web page only. With this, I can have head, a closing head. Inside that, I have a title. If I want to check that is my syntax is correct, or I could see the tab name called first web page or not, so I can use this go live option. In Visual Studio, usually we use go live option to just see the output of the page. I can see the output of the page, and here you can see the tab is here called first web page. Right? And there is nothing inside it right now because I have not written anything yet. So let's go back to my Visual Studios and let's continue coding. So over here, as my head is done, I will start with a body tag. Again, body has a starting Angular tag, so it should also have a paired close Angular tag. Now inside this, I can write my codes. Now, whatever I want to show on my screen, that is what will be coming inside the body. Now, suppose if I want to give it a heading to my body. So how to give a heading in my body? First of all, I can start with a h1 tag where I can write, hello, this is my first web page. My first web page. That's what the headings are. Okay. Now, in HTML, usually we have to write headings with this h tags. So we can just simply write h1. That's for the first big heading, big font heading for my web page. Always it comes with a /h1. Now, there is a thing that how many h can goes in here. So if I start with the h1, there is also a tag which is h2. What is the difference between h1 and h2 tag? Let's see. So if I just copy paste the same over here, let me just check my output now. So you can see the first heading is a bit big font, but the second one is by default is a little smaller than the first one. Right? So as in here, we have the heading tags. So we can go ahead with heading tags like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Till 6 heading tags we can give, not more than that. That means we cannot give H7 as a heading tag. Okay, so we can go with like H3. So let me show you the output. So over here, I write the same structure inside the H3. Let's go with the same for H4. So I'm just copy pasting the lines to show you that how the heading tags are working here. Now I'll go with H5. This is going to be H5. And then H6. So total 6 headings we can add into this heading tags of HTML. Now when I check the output, so you can see here, the first one is the biggest H1, H2, 3, 4, 5, and the smallest heading. So these what we call is as subheadings. This is my heading, this is the subheadings, because when you write a paragraph, definitely there is a main heading in the top. But again, that comes like with the subheadings when you ongoing with your paragraphs. So same comes over here as well. So this is how we have completed our basic structure of HTML. So do let me know if you have any doubt related to that. And please subscribe to my channel for more such videos because I'm coming with more HTML projects, and I'm also going to come with a lot of other concepts covering on my HTML and CSS JavaScript projects. So please stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.